Hello, I am Aidan, I am 17 years old, and I am a young animator filmmaker from the Isle of Wight, and I enjoy sharing my animating knowledge with community groups across the Isle of Wight. At the moment, I am a POA Learning student, and in June 2021, I was due to be taking my functional skills, maths and English exams. POA Learning has been fantastic, and they are the only exam centre provider that I can physically get my exams from. With these skills under my belt, the POA Learning will allow me to continue my studies with an OU degree course from September 21 and then become an animator filmmaker to attend the National Film and Television School, or I'll become a solar car engineer or police officer, or all three. I still haven't yet decided, but whatever I choose, POA Learning will help me put down the foundations to get me there. What is the government going to provide in POA Learning's place to make up this educational shortfall now that they have decided to cut the funding? The government stated that we, as a country, would not be worse off when we came out of the EU. Well, as direct result of the government's decision not to continue funding POA Learning and Union Learn from March onwards, that had a direct effect on my family and which has made us worse off, as I am now faced with the prospects of not having access to the exam systems to validate my English or maths education. This means I will potentially have no under 18 exam certificates to show future employees, colleges or universities for the rest of my life, as this will directly lead to me being discriminated against when compared to other future young school educated adults who have GCSEs and A-level certificates. And as of today, the 24th of February 2021, Gavin Williams was speaking at a Down Street briefing as he set out his £700 million fund to help pupils in England catch up on missed learning. And as part of that funding package, there was a national tutoring programme for primary and secondary pupils and an extended tuition fund for 16 to 19-year-olds. Now, I am 17 years old, so I should fall under the 16 to 19-year-old section of the government's funding plan. So, in short, I believe that the government shouldn't be scrapping POA funding. In fact, I think they should be supporting it.
Hello, my name is Neve and I'm 20 years old. I am a citizen scientist and creator of Citizen Science Isle of Wight, organising science-based events and workshops for community groups and museums across the Isle of Wight. I have just started studying with the Open University on a natural science undergraduate degree. My hope is to become a marine environmental scientist and to help inspire all generations to become citizen scientists of the future. As independently educated students, my brother Aidan and I are unable to access government-issued GCSE and A-level exams, which is fine as we have not had a secondary education, so why should we be examined on it? However, because I have not got a piece of paper to prove that I can speak, write, interpret English and calculate calculations for maths, I have been discriminated against by universities and jobs because the system in the UK says that it's not what you know, it's whether you've got a piece of paper to prove it. Thanks to POA Learning, who have supported Aidan and I when no one else would, they have allowed us to access the functional skills exams which we so needed, and has enabled me to study with the Open University. What is the government going to do to ensure that the thousands of people who depend on POA Learning are going to be supported in the way POA knows how to do best, and which my brother and I have both directly benefited from?
My sister benefited from accessing our local POA Learning Centre, which has enabled my sister to now study with the Open University. However, this educational pathway is now denied to me due to the government cutting their funding on the 31st of March 2021. As soon as this funding stops, as an independent student, I cannot access an exam centre to take exams without a local POA Learning Centre to register me with a certified examination body such as City and Guilds. POA Learning Centres are also certified exam centres, So cutting the funding will mean that my local POA Learning Centre will not be able to register me or provide invigilation for any of my exams. So, all of my English and Maths studies will go unrecognised and uncertified. This is not fair and denies me my right to under-19s education and access to the exam process.
But we must also look to the future. No child should have their prospects blighted by the pandemic, and I'm determined that this isn't going to happen.
As an independent student, my education has not been blighted by the pandemic, as I have been able to continue my studies throughout this national crisis, thanks to the dedicated, experienced POA learning staff and their online provisions. But my education is now being directly blighted by the UK government's decision to cut Union Learn's funding. So, we request that the UK government reverses their decision and continues the funding for Union Learn and POA Learning in order to benefit independent student workers all over the country so that we all can have access to this essential maths, English, ICT and training provisions. Without secured funding, our nation will become educationally poorer. If you agree that the government should continue to fund Union Learn and POA Learning, please help by signing the petition today. Thank you.